long 5 years. We've tried to resist. Fear and mistrust rule the galaxy.
No, wait!
Cal, look into the fire. It will warm you, keep you company. But left unchecked, it will consume everything until there is only ash.
How could you let the galaxy fall to this unworthy machine of an empire?
Hope may feel beyond our grasp. But I think we finally found somewhere the Empire can't reach us.
Imagine. No more looking over your shoulder.
A place that's worth fighting for. No matter the cost.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is The Way. This will be my Star Wars Jedi Survivor trailer video. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references. I know people want to see Cal Kestis come to The Mandalorian in live action. I'm in the middle of doing the Mandalorian Season 3 episodes right now. My Episode 4 video will post in a couple days, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. Also, give some copies of the game away when it actually comes out in April. Funny coincidence, too, because this week, The Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 4 is titled The Child. It's all about Grogu, so we're probably going to see some more Order 66 flashbacks. And they're releasing the new Jedi Survivor trailer, which is all about surviving Order 66 and surviving the Empire. A little bit later in the timeline during this game, we're 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, which puts us right around the start of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, just in a different part of the galaxy. So while Darth Vader and the Inquisitors are busy chasing down Obi-Wan Kenobi, Cal Kestis is busy dealing with this other Jedi survivor, the Jedi who survived from the High Republic era, who's hundreds of years old. It sounds like he is pissed about what happened with Order 66. Like, how dare you let the Emperor and the Empire do this? It sounds like he's on an Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader bend, like he's going to bring his quote-unquote order to the galaxy, just in a completely different direction that Darth Vader wanted to take things. But the idea is that during the game, Cal Kestis is meant to be about 23 years old. So for those of you that are wondering how old he is compared to the characters on The Mandalorian right now, he'd be just a little bit younger, around the same age as Ahsoka, and she's around her early 40s. So it'd actually be pretty easy to age Cameron Monaghan up just a couple years, just a little bit older, for him to fit in with the characters in the timeline. But they did sound pretty certain that they would make a third game, so they might make the third game before he shows up in the live-action series. Based on the way they jump around in the footage here in the montage at the beginning with his voiceover, it sounds like he's been busy helping people just across the galaxy since the events of the last game. It looks like he's fighting some kind of dark Jedi or people working with the Inquisitors or different armor. This isn't traditional Inquisitor armor, but they're wielding a cross-hilt lightsaber here. They're either a Jedi who turned or someone who just stole the lightsaber off another Jedi after they died. I'm also inclined to think it's just that High Republic Jedi, like the main villain of the game, and that's why he has the cross-hilt lightsaber that looks all raw, and he's just wearing a helmet. We see Merrin come back. She was a Night Sister, that's why she has those tattoos and Force abilities, and the green fire. She's using her Night Sister Force techniques to ask him to look into her fire to see a vision. That's what they use the fire for a lot. They did this kind of thing during the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels a lot with the Night Sister characters and Darth Maul's character because he is also from Dathomir, so they featured him a lot on that planet. I'm not sure which planet this is supposed to be. It looks kind of like Coruscant, but I don't think it's Coruscant because remember, we're 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. The Empire would have firmly taken over and their seat of power would have been on Coruscant, so you would have wanted to stay away from there as far as possible. It might be Gree's homeworld in the Mid-Rim because you see Merrin talking about the fire, warming him, keeping him company as he's hugging and reuniting with Grease. The whole idea with the galaxy is the closer you get to the core worlds, the more developed, the richer, the older the planets get, basically. So the most powerful planets tend to be in the mid-rim in the galactic core. Merrin's metaphor about her Night Sister fire says left unchecked it will consume everything until there's only ash, which is a dark side of the Force reference, like the hate, the fear within him are the fire, which is also supposed to be a reference to the villain of the story, the other ancient Jedi, who has been consumed by his hate. been stewing in that bacta tank for all these hundreds of years, just getting madder and madder about what happened with the galaxy going to crap. Like, oh, how dare you destroy the galaxy while I was in the tank? He sounds so pissed during this. It'll be interesting to see when they actually meet and Cal Kestis gets all excited, like, oh my god, I found another Jedi, this is so wonderful. And then he starts telling him what actually happened with the fall of the Jedi Order 66, and he starts to get more and more pissed off. A lot of great stuff happening. Jedi Order reached this big zenith, but then, a couple minor things happened, couple setbacks. Whole bunch of us wound up dying. Most of the rest of us are on the run. Make sure you watch out for someone named Anakin Skywalker. We see more footage of Merrin using her Force abilities fighting stormtroopers, also footage of her fighting with Cal Kestis. This is a brand new character named Akuna. He's just a mercenary character who winds up helping Cal Kestis, metaphorically and literally, because you see them both fighting a K2SO droid together. Speaking of K2SO, I believe he's supposed to appear during Season 2 of Star Wars Andor. This isn't meant to be the K2SO from Rogue One, though. This is just meant to be part of that type of droid. And this signal might just be the one that leads them to the surviving High Republic Jedi. But the voiceover fighting for a place beyond the control of the Empire, I think it's just meant to be a metaphor for them surviving the Empire, like the place is the galaxy just in general after the events of Return of the Jedi. As in the title of the game, the Jedi survive the Empire. We get a little more BD1 footage. They actually just featured BD1 in a couple episodes of The Mandalorian Season 2 and Season 3. I don't remember if he was featured during Season 1. I think he just appeared in Season 2 when Mando started building his Naboo starfighter. I know there's always a lot of questions about who knew where everybody was during different parts of the timeline, but the idea is that the main galaxy of Star Wars is a vast place. The Mandalorian, for example, barely knew about Jedi characters at all. When he first took up the mission to take Grogu back to his people, quote-unquote, to the other Jedi, looking for Luke Skywalker, even though he didn't realize it was Luke Skywalker he was looking for, he referred to them as ancient sorcerers. That's how little he knew about the Jedi. There's this whole idea that he's still trying to resuscitate the Jedi Order, going around finding other Force-sensitive people and helping people along the way. One of the people that the holocron leads him to is this person here. But it sounds like it's one of those situations where he rescues this Force-sensitive person who's really bitter about what happened with Order 66, the Emperor, Darth Vader, turning to the dark side. He says, I will not be imprisoned again, and he sounds really dark. So it sounds like they might come to blows because of their differing ideas about what they should actually do about the Empire moving forward. Because you also see this new character talking to the mercenaries that Cal Kestis was fighting in the other part of the trailer. When they refer to the Jedi giving them problems, so to speak, like they're going to continue to fight each other throughout the game, he holds up the device and says, not as long as we have this. It seems like a tracking device that helps him clock Cal Kestis around the galaxy. Seer Junda comes back. It looks like she's been taking care of a new Jedi library, or the remnants of the old one. It meant to look just like the old Jedi library. We see him fighting a Wampa, not on an ice planet, inside an Imperial base, fighting similar types of Dark Trooper robots that we saw on the Mandalorian series much later in the timeline. I'm assuming these Dark Trooper robots are different from the ones that Moff Gideon created, because I think his were supposed to build upon years of Imperial engineering and research. Like they were way more hardcore than the ones that Cal Kestis was fighting in this scene here. We see him stopping the blaster shots in midair like Kylo Ren. The other big change too is there's another big Kylo Ren Easter egg. He has a cross-hilt lightsaber just like Kylo Ren did, except his doesn't look all janky like Kylo Ren's did. The actual synopsis for the story just reads, during Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Cal Kestis is pushed further to the outer rim of the galaxy by the Empire, Darth Vader, the Emperor, the Inquisitors. The game picks up 5 years after Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Notice the new scars on his face, like he's got a bunch of extra city miles on him. He crashes their spaceship. During the events of the game, they say Cal Kestis considers himself a Jedi Knight, like he's a Padawan no longer. They also say that during that 5-year time jump, he's had many subsequent run-ins with the Imperials, Inquisitors, since the end of Jedi Fallen Order. They've already done the Inquisitors in live action, and like I said, this game in particular takes place at the exact same time that the Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes are taking place. You have to picture Darth Vader using the Inquisitors to go after Cal Kestis. In much to the Grand Inquisitor's chagrin, all of his attention shifts to this Obi-Wan Kenobi person. You just have to picture Darth Vader being like, okay, we have history. I need to focus on Obi-Wan Kenobi right now. I've been obsessed with him for the past 10 years, since Revenge of the Sith. He would definitely be way more obsessed with Obi-Wan Kenobi than he would be with Cal Kestis. Like, he'd be pissed off about what happened at the end of Jedi Fallen Order, but he's been way more pissed off about what happened with Obi-Wan Kenobi and his scarring on Mustafar. Then we have a couple new antagonists, like we have this new Jedi character that he rescues who seems like he falls to darkness, and this other creepy-looking senator on Coruscant who seems like he's after him. Even though that looks kind of like the Grand Inquisitor, he's not meant to be the Grand Inquisitor. He's supposed to be a brand new senator character that they're introducing for the game. But because this is taking place during the events of Obi-Wan Kenobi, we know a lot about what happens later in the timeline because we don't see another real Jedi Academy forming until Luke Skywalker creates his during the events of the Mandalorian series. We also found out that the planet that Jedi Academy is on is Ossus, which has a deep history in Star Wars lore. It goes all the way back in the Legends canon. They explained that that was the main planet that the Jedi Order moved to, the more modern Jedi Order, when it formed after they left Tython, which was the other planet they visited in the Mandalorian series where Grogu sent out the beacon in the Force to basically anybody that could hear it. He was just lucky that Luke Skywalker was the first person to respond to the beacon because it wasn't just a beacon to the Jedi, it was a beacon to anyone who was Force sensitive and could detect it. There are also a lot of people that we know about who survived who are just waiting to come back in the live action projects who would have heard it too, both bad and good people. A lot of that stuff they're saving for the future live action series. Like we'll get into a lot of Force lore during the Ahsoka series in particular. Those episodes will be coming right after the Mandalorian Season 3, probably sometime around the summer, like late summer maybe. But that'll take place during the same part of the timeline, or at least the main part of the series. There'll probably be some flashbacks during it, because I believe Hayden Christensen is also supposed to show up during that, but it'd either have to be as a Force Ghost, or it would be flashbacks. Probably one of the other coolest things during the trailer, though, is the dual wielding. Like, dual wielding becomes a big feature in the game, and it doesn't have to be you holding a regular double-bladed lightsaber and breaking it apart. It's just like two completely different lightsabers that you get to use. But if there are any other Easter eggs or questions you have about what's going on during the events of this or how this crosses over with the other big characters in the Star Wars universe, just write it below in the comments. Big reminder, my Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 4 video will post on Wednesday after they release it, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everyone click here for that. I'll update the link as soon as I post it, and click here for all my other Mandalorian episode videos. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and this is the way.